Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Akram and you're watching Knowledge 360. In the previous video, we discussed about group by and having clause in PostgreSQL database. And in this video, we'll discuss some advanced topic of grouping sets, cube, and rollup in PostgreSQL database. So in PostgreSQL, group by allows aggregation of data based on specific columns that we covered in the previous video. So in this video, we'll see the advanced reporting and multidimensional analysis. We'll use the grouping sets, cube, and rollup. So for that, let's create a table called sales data and let's insert some dummy data. So the data is inserted and we can view those data. So here we can see the data. The data is like this. Region is there, north, south, west, east, etc. And the category of the product is there and the subcategory of the product is also there and the revenue data is there. So let's perform the grouping sets. So using grouping sets in PostgreSQL to analyze revenue by different levels. So this will allow us to compute total at the multiple levels of the aggregation. So in this example, we'll do the aggregation on the basis of region, category and category subcategory and also without any categories. So let's perform this one. So here we can see that data is aggregated on the basis of multiple possibilities. So as we provided the details how it will be grouped, one is region category and second is category subcategory. So the first one is region category. So west electronics, this is the revenue. West furniture, this is the revenue. So then north furniture, this is the revenue. So this is how we have grouped. And also if I scroll down, here I can see category and subcategory wise also grouping is done. Furniture, table, then electronics, laptop. So this is the way how we group. And also one more that grouping we had done, grouping sets we had created that without any columns. So that shows here without any columns what is the total revenue. So this is how we use the grouping sets in PostgreSQL database. And next is using the rollup in PostgreSQL database to aggregate cells by hierarchical level, that is region, after that category, after that subcategory. So rollup provides progressive aggregation including the subtotal and grand total. So let's see the example of rollup. So we have performed the rollup and here we can see this is the last aggregation that without any column. Here we can see that all the three columns are involved in the sum of the product, and here we can see all are included. And here if you see we have included only region and category, and also here we can see only region is there. So these are the levels of aggregation. First is on the basis of region, that is south, west, north. Then we included the region with category, how what is the grouping data, and then including the region and category, next we included region, category and subcategory. So what is the sum amount? So this is at the end, this is the grand total amount. So in the next example, we will see the using of cube in PostgreSQL database to generate all possible groupings. So cube provides all the combinations of given columns, and this is useful for multidimensional analysis. So let's perform the cube operation on the basis of the three columns that we have. Now here we can see that all the possible groupings are done. So first is this is the grand total. The second is region, category and subcategory wise we have combinations, and after that we have only region and category wise data. And after that if I scroll down, only region is there, and then if I scroll down, there is a category and subcategory wise data here until here, and then we have only on the basis of category, then we have only on the basis of subcategory along with the region, and at the end we have only on the basis of subcategory data. So this is how cube is more useful when we talk about the data warehousing technique or the multidimensional view. So in the previous examples like rollup and grouping sets, we need to provide the columns that we want to perform the grouping and for the analysis for multidimensional analysis. But in the cube, if we provide the columns, so on the basis of those columns all the possible groupings will be done. So this is one benefit of cube. Next, let's see an example of grouping sets with a detailed analysis in PostgreSQL. So this query groups the data at different hierarchical level explicitly defined. So here we are defining data like this. In the first example we have done on the basis of only two columns, but in this example we are doing the same thing on the basis of three columns, two columns, one columns, and then no columns. So let's see the data by executing this statement. So here we can see that we have got multiple results. This is the first is the grand total, that is on the basis of no column, and this is on the basis of all the columns. These are the data that grouping is done. Then on the basis of region and category we have done grouping, and then we have done on the basis of region only. So this is how data are grouped on the basis of grouping sets. In the next example, we will see how we can use the grouping function in PostgreSQL to identify the null causes. So for that, we use the grouping function like this, grouping and then function. This helps to differentiate between the nulls from the dataset and nulls introduced by aggregate function. So let's see the data, and we'll see how it works. So for that we have queried, and here we can see that how many null values are there. So first we can see in this this is the grand total. So here we can see in the region grouping there is one null. In the category grouping also null is there. One means null is there, zero means null is not there. So in the subcategory also null is present. So if we see next this data, there is no null value because we have all the data for all the grouping sets. And in the next, if we see subcategories don't have the value. So for the subcategory count, we can see that there is one. That means due to the grouping, there is a null value. And after that, we can see that in the next case where we don't have the data for category and subcategory, so we can say that grouping on category and grouping on subcategory we have one. That means there is a null value due to grouping. So this is how grouping function works in PostgreSQL to identify if null is generated in the data or it is generated through the grouping. In the next example, we'll see the combining of grouping sets, cube, and rollup in PostgreSQL database. So first we use the different grouping methods together for flexible analysis. So in this example, we have done the group by on the region, and then we have performed the cube on the basis of category and subcategory. So let's execute this query. Here we can see that data is grouped using the group by, and also it is grouped on the basis of cube. So for the cube, we know that all the possible combinations will be there, and using the group by we have grouped the data. In the next example, we'll perform the group by with distinct in PostgreSQL to remove duplicates grouping sets. So distinct ensures that we don't generate duplicate groupings when using the rollup function. So let's perform this query. So here we can see instead of getting 25 records, we have got 18 records because duplicates are removed. So in the additional example and use cases in PostgreSQL, we'll see some examples. First is monthly and yearly sales summaries, how we can analyze that. So analyzing sales over time with the rollup function. So we can perform this kind of grouping using a rollup and group by. So let's execute this query to see the revenue as per month and year. So this is the output that we have got. So on the basis of if we discuss on the basis of month, so there is only one month, that is the fifth month of the year 2025. So we have one grouping set, and if we do summation on the basis of only year, then we got 2025 only, and there is no other month value, and this is the total sum, and this is the grand total of the data. In the next example, we can see the sales performance by salesperson and region. For that, we can use the cube function in PostgreSQL to compare sales figures across regions and salespeople. So for that, we are taking the region value, and we are taking the sales data and performing the cube on the basis of region. So let's perform this query, and we can see that for this is the grand total we know, and for south this is the total sales done, for west and for north this is the data that sales have been done. In the next example, we'll see the customer segmentation analysis. So grouping revenue data by customer type and purchase category. So how we can do that? So we can do by taking a customer type and then category, and on the basis of customer type and category we can perform the grouping sets. So let's perform this query to see the data. So here we can see here we have taken the hard-coded regular, but if in the data there are other types of customers, so we'll get such combinations. So for now we got this combination, that is regular electronics is this is the amount, regular furniture this is the amount, and regular null this is the amount. This is the grand total amount. So we did this using the grouping sets. In the next example, we can see the financial budgeting and forecasting in PostgreSQL. So for this, we can use the cube function to analyze expenses across different departments. So for that, let's create a table called financial data and insert some data into the table. So the data are also inserted, and then we can perform this query, that is select department name, quarter, and the sum of expenses, and on the cube department and quarter. So we'll get all the possible aggregate data. So here we can see this is the total revenue data, and then this is the department wise quarter one, and for the next department quarter one, and then is the department and quarter two, and then next department and quarter two. This record is on the, these two record are on the basis of only department, and these two record are on the basis of only quarters. So as we know that cube gives all the possible combinations of the data, so we got these outputs. So this is very useful when we do the multidimensional analysis for data warehousing. So the conclusion is grouping sets, cube, and rollup provides powerful ways to perform complex aggregation in PostgreSQL, and rollup is useful for hierarchical summaries, while cube generates all possible groupings, and grouping sets allow flexible grouping combinations without redundant computations. So these techniques significantly enhance SQL's analytical capabilities, making it easier to derive insights from data, and understanding their use cases and performance implications is essential for writing efficient queries in PostgreSQL. So this was all about the advanced grouping sets, rollup, and cube options that we have in PostgreSQL database. If the video was helpful, do like the video and subscribe the channel to get the notifications for upcoming videos. So in the next video, we'll cover the topic of window functions in PostgreSQL database. So let's meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.